Ah, YouTube, it's yours truly back with another Madden highlight reel talking about Madden 21 with the Madden 20 highlights in the background. Troy Polamalu. We're going to be talking about user control here. We're going to break it down category by category so I can really talk in depth about each feature they add and each reveal they keep doing, whether it's news related or game mode related. A whole lot of stuff we can talk about here. I still got plenty of highlights, but let's talk about user control. The number one thing I hear about the user in Madden 21, remember, disclaimer, I did not play the game, or the beta rather, but I keep hearing that the user is slowed down. So I can't really justify and clarify exactly how slowed down it is, but a lot of people are saying it's slowed down. But a lot of people I'm hearing that from play mud a lot. So right here you see Troy Polamalu in the middle of the field, and I end up being all over the field. That's because I got 98 speed. That's mud, right? Fastest speed on the game is 99 since they don't do over 100 stats anymore. So I'm basically as fast as I could get. If I had a Steelers theme team, I could be a little bit faster, but 98 speed. Then you go to linebackers because you're playing with regular teams in the beta who would probably like 85 speed. That'd be normal for them, but you're still trying to cover 99 speed Tyreek Hill. So, maybe it does seem slow. Remember the beginning of the game, Ryan Shazier was like the fastest middle linebacker, right? The team captain one. He had like 84 speed, right? And that was really good for a middle linebacker. Tyreek Hill had 91, right? So that's a +7 difference. Tyreek Hill was burning off on Ryan Shazier. You didn't like predict beforehand, recognize the route. And that's pretty much what it's going to come down to user in this year. So let's say they did slow it down a little or maybe drastically. Good users are still finna adjust. They just got to anticipate the play beforehand. You might not be able to guard 2 to 3 routes, so you got to make sure that you set up the proper zones to guard the other routes for you, right? It should be an interesting year, though. I'm real hyped to get back in the grind, man. Let me know what you guys think about this user control. Cause Madden 20, people are like, you can't jump anymore. You guys remember that? You couldn't jump in the beginning of the year for picks. Like, all these picks you guys see me getting here are Troy Polamalu skying through the skies and reaching the Narnia and stuff to get these picks. That wasn't happening in the beginning of the year, but once you got the lurker ability, you're able to do that. So maybe they have an ability for user speed. No, that'd be pretty wild. But maybe it's just gonna take some time to get adjusted to, right? We're gonna have to see. Can't wait to play the game. I really am hyped for it, but I'm not playing Madden 20. I can't even play Madden 20. I gave away my whole entire team, but Madden 21, man, I'm really hyped for it. And with the slow user, we're talking about the defense perspective, right? They also say tackling is better. I might talk about tackling more in depth on a different video. But with the slow users, let's talk about the offensive effects it can have, right? So I'm going to come back with a new instrumental for the offensive part. And we got the levels instrumental because this change on the offensive side will create so many different levels in the passing game. Because beforehand, you couldn't throw near a user, especially when they got lurker on. They were jumping crazy high, so they were like 10 to 15 yards underneath it. You're still at risk for throwing a pick. They could go from the left side of the field to the right side of the field, back to the left. They could do a whole lot of wild stuff. They could start 5 yards ahead of the line of scrimmage and then drop all the way back 30 yards and get a pick. The user was everywhere. Now you can actually probably run more real-life concepts, right? You could do level concepts like have a high-low read. You could do dual crossers more often because dual crossers this year, I feel like I could cover both of them. Don't ask me how, but I was in my bag when it came to stuff like that, man. So they slow down the users offensively. The gameplay should be way more enticing, right? It really should. Right there, I'm 30 yards back. I'm basically playing safety with my user. If you can't do that next year, defensively, I can't gamble as much. I got to be more conservative, maybe. It's going to be a real interesting game next year, man. I can't wait for it. Let me know what you guys think. Will this hurt the defense more? Or, what do you think the score would be? Do you think the score would be the same, basically? Because, of course, it does hurt the defense. But do you think the score would be the same? Like, normally, I don't know what your guys' scores were to your games, but mine were typically like 17-14, right? If I got in a close game, I blew a lot of people out, but if it was a close game, 17-14, do you think offense now just is overpowered because so many concepts you can start running now with a slow user where one player can't cover 3 routes? So maybe you blitz 7, which was the meta this year, blitz 7, cover 2 to 3 routes, and then make sure you got corners or safeties deep and stuff so you don't get beat. That was a meta this year. Next year, you blitz 7, and you got a slow user. You can't cover that many routes. I could hit you on the flat real quick, or a slant route real quick, and then you could get big yardage after the catch, right? So, do you think the scores go up? And if so, by how much? Do you think you start seeing games like 24-21 often, 28-24, 35, and start getting up in the 30s more? Madden 20 to me had a decent balance, even though the game wasn't balanced, right? Because passing was all the top passers that cried about people that only ran the ball basically did the same thing, roll out corner routes, right? And my user was able to cover that a lot of times without me having to go pick a safety or a corner user myself. Excuse me. Thank you, by the way, you said bless you. But that's what I was able to do, right? You know, user the corner. It was a slow user. I might have to use I was able to use the corner route. Excuse me yet again. The corner route with my linebacker. With a slow user, I might actually have to use the corner back instead. It's going to be interesting. It really will be. Excuse me. All right, I'm going to come back with a different instrumental. I'm blaming on the instrumental, all right? Let me come back with another one. My bad about that. I promise you, I'm allergic to bad plays. I'm seeing all these highlights. I'm like, man, these guys are making some real bad plays. Like, look at that right there. I mean, he's just sabotaging the game. I promise you that's what it is, but my bad about that. I got the champion instrumental because no matter what, I'm going to win games, right? 25-0, that's the goal in Weekend League. Want to do that again. Did it twice last year. How many times do you think I can do it this coming up year? Maybe 4? 4 would be a good thing. Hopefully 1 month in the future, maybe a couple, 2 to 3 years from now, I might be able to go 100-0 for a month. That would be wild. I love that one. I had a 50-game win streak in Weekend League. So, I mean, I've been halfway there. It wasn't back-to-back 25-0s. I won 5 straight to close one out, went 25-0, then started one off with 20 straight wins. So that's pretty much how that went. But let me know if you guys are for this change or against it. I think it's just going to take time for people to adjust. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. But it's one of those changes where not many people ask for it. But I'm not mad that EA did it. No, it's I'm not mad whatsoever. You guys are upset about this change, let me know. If you guys love this change, also let me know. I'm looking back at all these clips, and I just don't know, man. The user, you're taking this away. It does change the skill gap. I don't think it lowers it, but I think it changes it. Right? I expect more people to be more versatile. Like I said, might see more pass rushers and secondary users. But now the skill gap probably will be more on play rec instead of like you could just send 7 and then just cover everybody, right? So it actually might make people become better at the game. It should be a real good change, but regardless, I'm going to be great at the game anyways. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Next up will be a Carson Wentz highlight. I'm going to start work on the late grade for Willie Brown. I'll probably get that Willie Brown late grade out in the next 2 weeks. But we're going to talk about my favorite player, Carson Wentz, his rating, and another one of my favorite players, Deshaun Jackson, comments. So that would be next video. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.